Welcome back to Mic'd Up and Misinformed with your host, Mad Dog and Lunch Money. Today we're
Yeah.
going to break down and give our predictions out for UFC Fight Night, Adesanya versus Pfeiffer. And at the end, we'll give out a couple more picks on who's going to win March Madness and, just briefly kind of go over that. I know we are right in the midst of the tournament right now.
Yep. Right. Going to the Sweet 16 come tomorrow.
Yep, we got some Sweet 16 games. They'll be played on Thursday and Friday. So, depending on what we say today, we might pick a team that gets out in the next 2 days. But hopefully, give you guys some teams that at least make it
Right.
to the Final Four.
All right. And then of course I go to Vegas last week. Lunch Money's on spring break, so he meets me up with us. We didn't do the podcast, so we went and bet parlays together, and of course they hit. So we should have at least taken a photo and posted it on the Instagram or something, just so people
I
could,
know, bro, and I hate being that guy too to be like, "Oh, we didn't
yeah.
post our plays, but we hit
I
everything." But
know.
dude, I don't care what y'all think. We slapped though, bro. We took parlayed a couple favorites and for plus money, and then our underdog play of the day was was it Danny Silva
Yeah, Danny
plus
Silva.
220, bro.
Yep.
Underdog cash for us too. So
So
we killed it.
and I know there were some like close moments going into the decisions, but again, just if it hit, and unfortunately we forgot to post it, but that's all I'm gonna say. And we had fun.
Yeah, it's all
Vegas was
good. Oh,
great.
and I should have recorded this guy, but Mad Dog hit all the numbers on craps and
He
got that
did.
big bonus, the 150 to 1 odds
Yeah.
on the craps, dude. That's nuts. But this guy
Right.
has probably hit all the numbers more than anybody I know, dude. This guy is a monster.
Every now and then. I think on that trip, I think I hit the all tall small 3 times the whole time I was there.
Dude, that's crazy. Some people don't hit that like if they played often for a year. I mean,
Yeah.
that's not a very common thing to do. And
For
then when I
sure.
was rolling, I did not I did pretty well. Like I profited some money. I pissed
You,
away a good amount of profit, but
you were doubled up there for a
I was
second.
hitting the hard ways like crazy, but I was not
Dude,
playing the hard ways at all. So I probably would have
I
made a
know every
ton of
time I
money.
look up, this guy was hitting the hard ways. I'm like, what is happening over here? You had a one monster roll though, because you racked it up. You doubled your bankroll like in 10 minutes.
Yeah, I put in I put in 100, and then I got it up to 265, and then when I left there with you, I was at like 160 or something like that. So
Which then covered the sports bets.
yeah, because I took out 160 and I put the 100 in the craps and then 60 on sports bets, and then we turned those sports bets into like Um, well, I had some extra slips from the other casino, but we ended up profiting a good amount because I mean, we didn't. I don't know if we got any UFC plays wrong, honestly, bro.
No, not of course. That last weekend, no, we nailed it. But
So
same, we didn't overbet either. We kind of bet smart, but we still called it.
yeah, we're
And
about to hit
I feel
again
good
this week,
about
bro. I
this one.
feel it.
Yeah, I feel good about this card. All
Let's
right.
get it, man. Not too bad of a card. First fight on here, we have Bruna Brazil versus Alexia Thenara. I'm not very familiar with Alexia. Bruna's all right. She's 11-6. Alexia's 13-1, so it looks like she's a hot prospect, but I
Yeah,
don't know much about her. Do you got an
no,
opinion here?
that's exactly it, dude. I think she's just a hot prospect coming in here. I think they're giving Bruno kind of a last chance to stay with contract and stay on board, and I think Alexi's going to come in and just dominate, and she might even be able to finish this, dude. Honestly, the odds are ridiculous though. Alexia at minus 750, Bruno at plus 500. So it's a little hard because Alexia is new to the UFC, and sometimes when people first show up, they kind of have stage fright a little bit, and sometimes they're not their selves like the first one or two fights. So it's tough, but Bruno's been rough to watch. I feel like she loses two, wins one, loses two, wins one. She hasn't been able to do very well, even against like mid tier competitors.
Yeah.
So
And she's
it,
32 years old, and yeah, I agree, bro. Just hasn't been impressive. For her record being 11-6. I mean, if you're in the UFC and have 11-6 record, you're like a vet who's fought everybody.
yeah,
And she
exactly.
hasn't even really fought that great of people. Her last fight was a loss to Kaylin Souza. and then she won. You know, she it's lose win in the UFC, and she's not fighting the best. So if she loses, which is looking like it, she probably
Yeah.
will be cut from the UFC. And
Yep.
Alexia 13-1, bro. And in my opinion, if you're above a minus, I'll say 500 in women's MMA, that means that those odds are saying this person's probably going to get a finish.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I said I wouldn't be surprised if she gets a
And if it
finish.
goes to scorecard, I mean that minus 500 is saying it's going to be a 30-27 type decision if it
Yeah.
even makes it to it.
Yep. Yeah, I don't really see it going the distance on this one. And most of the girl fights I would say go the distance, but I think they're setting her up to come in, kind of get a nice launch first UFC.
Yeah, they're putting her in there for a finish.
Yep.
Next up, we got Ricky Simone versus Adrian Yanez. Um, dude, I can't wait to hear what the odds are here because this is such a good stylistic matchup. Ricky Simone loves to wrestle,
Yeah.
loves to add up control time throughout the fight. Not bad at jiu-jitsu, not bad at
Yep.
ground and pound, but
Yeah. I
definitely
love his
his
ground and pound.
his strength is definitely wrestling and the
Exactly.
grappling. You know, he doesn't want to stand a distance, whereas Adrian Yanez is primarily a boxer. You know, he wants to stand and throw hands. So this stylistically is a really good matchup.
Yeah, this should be a good fight. I mean, this is going to be you're going to see a lot of punches thrown, a lot of strikes, and like you said, I think Ricky really uses his wrestling, keeps it short, kind of that dirty boxing, pound and ground style, and just wins by control time. Honestly, I don't know if he could get the knockout, but I think overall he wins by decision. So Ricky Simon is minus 142. Adrian Yanez is plus 122.
You know what, man? To me, I think those odds sound about right. I'd put it at dang near a pick 'em. It's interesting because like Ricky Simone, in my opinion, is like a gatekeeper for the division, and
Yeah,
Yanez just a couple years ago, when he was on a hot streak for a little bit, people were saying that I even thought at one point like, man, he really could be a contender. But
yeah.
now I'm thinking, I don't even know if he's UFC caliber. I mean, where his I thought his ceiling was versus how the last couple of years have gone recently. I don't know if Yanez is even UFC caliber, respectfully. And so in this matchup, um, I'm going to take the vet Ricky Simone here to win a decision. I like Simone in this contest. I just trust him more, bro. Because if Yanez gets taken down, I just think Simone has more paths to victory.
Yeah, he definitely has more paths to victory. Exactly.
If Yanez wins, I think you have to take a KO here. You have to take the KO prop on Yanez. I don't see him piecing Simone up for 3 rounds and getting a decision if he was to win.
No, exactly. Because as soon as he starts to feel pressure, he's just going to shoot on you.
Yeah, and I don't know if Yanez will be able to um, continue getting back up every time and maintaining
Yeah.
his gas tank.
I was going to say, you see those guys get exhausted, especially after defending, getting up, defending, getting up.
Yeah, so we're both rocking with Ricky Simone.
Yeah, both rock. Yeah, with Ricky and with decision. So that's a good pick.
Cool. Yeah, I like that, bro. Um, Next up, we have Navajo Sterling versus Bruno Lopez. This is a good matchup, man. At the light heavyweight, Bruno is 14-2, and Navajo Sterling is 8-0. He's undefeated, has not lost yet. Dude, Sterling is an absolute unit too. That
It's
dude is
Sterling.
built crazy.
Sterling is going to be tough to beat, man. I don't really see any crazy weaknesses or anything. So, I mean, I think if someone comes in that just has his kryptonite, they'll be able to get the job done. But I mean, as far as I'm concerned, I think Sterling's just kind of climbing the ropes, man, going to the top.
And I'm looking here. So Bruno's on a 3-fight win streak, but his most recent fight was a loss to Dustin Jacoby by KO in the first
Yeah.
round.
So
I
I
like
could,
Jacoby. I know he's a little bit older, but dude, if you're like, in my opinion, and he got a big knockout on the Dana White's Contender Series in
yeah,
2024. But dude, in my opinion, I just think Sterling is on another level, and I think Sterling is like in that. I think he's top 10 caliber in his division.
for sure, 100%,
This
hundred
is
percent.
this is a stepping stone fight for him, dude. I'm assuming Sterling is pretty favored on the odds, but dude, I
Minus
think he's
six
a lock.
seventy five, minus 675. Isn't
Yeah,
that crazy? But I could
yeah,
see him getting a KO against Bruno Lopez, especially if he just got KO'd and his button is soft. I could see Sterling getting a KO
yeah. He could win all three ways in my opinion too. So
for sure.
on that one, bro, I'm tempted to put Sterling on a parlay just because I feel like it's a
Yeah,
lock, bro.
yeah. I think that's a perfect parlay piece.
All right, man. So all right, we're on board together. We agree on all the fights so far, bro.
Yeah, we're riding together.
Next up, we got. I'm interested what your pick is on this. We have Gabriela Fernandez versus Casey O'Neill. This is a good women's matchup in my opinion, and this is at flyweight.
I think it's a great matchup, dude. It's basically a pick 'em right now on the one book. O'Neill's at -108 and Fernandez is at -112. I think on one of the other ones I saw Fernandez was the underdog. But I mean, I like O'Neill, dude. I think she's a really well-rounded fighter. I think she fights intelligently. She can box. She can basically, grapple or wrestle, and she does have submission abilities. I actually like her jiu-jitsu a lot. So I think for this division, I think Casey O'Neill's a win, especially at these odds. I mean, it's basically a pick 'em, so you can't go wrong.
Bro, I feel pretty confident about this pick.
Oh shit, it's
Casey O'Neill's
Fernandez.
gonna get it done.
Oh yeah, let's go, baby.
Bro,
Let's
Kate, bro,
go.
I feel really good about Casey O'Neill. She only has two losses in the UFC. She's 28 years old. Fernandez is 32. She's kind of peaked already in my opinion, where she's not still growing a lot. Her last fight was the Stoliarenko, who isn't a high caliber UFC fighter. Casey O'Neill's losses were when she's a little bit younger.
Yeah, she was
They're like
younger.
stepping stones and learning curves for her.
Yeah,
Being only 28 years old, I think Casey's a top five caliber talent for her division, in my opinion. I think
yeah,
she's right up there at the top, and this is a statement fight for her. I would not be surprised if Casey finds a finish here, but I feel
yeah.
really confident taking her regardless, even if it does go to a
Love it.
decision.
I thought you were about to flip it on me, bro.
No, dude, I like Casey, bro. Like the only time I'm fading her is if she's fighting like the cream of the crop, like at the top. But I just feel like this is a low level. Um, th- I feel like
Always
this is a fight she
disappointing.
might find a finish here. I think that she's
Yeah,
a couple levels above Gabriela Fernandez.
yep. And I think, like you said, I think she had those couple early losses and just keeps growing.
Yeah, and she trains at a really good gym. I'm pretty sure she's still at Extreme Couture, which Sean Strickland, Francis Ngannou, tons of UFC fighters. It's here in Vegas, but it's one of the better gyms. So,
Yep,
yeah, taking her to the bank, bro.
love it.
Next up, we got Marcin Tybura versus Tyrell Fortune. I don't know too much about Tyrell Fortune, bro, but I know that Tybura, he's fought everybody in the heavyweight division, and I think he's like that guy that's right outside of the rankings.
Yeah,
He's like a gatekeeper for the contenders, I guess. He's like that 10 to 15 range fighter for me. And
yep.
I don't know much about Tyrell Fortune, but I'm taking Tyrell in this matchup. I just think Tybura is on the decline and he's taken a ton of damage. And the heavyweight division needs some new people in it. They need some new faces. So give me Tyrell.
100%. Dude, I couldn't have said it better. I think Marcin's on a downward decline. Like you said, he's probably still top 15 or so, but I think he's just on a slippery slope. He's starting to kind of age out and wear down. And Tyrell, I think this is his first fight in the UFC. I don't even think he did a contender series. I think this is his first fight, and he's kind of like a boxing KO master, spinning back elbow type thing. So I mean, look for him to get the KO here, and it's a pretty good pick 'em because I don't think, like you said, nobody really knows. There's not a lot of value there. So Marcin is +115 and Tyrell at -135. So I mean, I love the odds there, especially for someone. I mean, I hate to say beating up on the old guy, but someone coming in here, they're using this to launch him, to move up quick, to get the fans behind him.
Yeah, and they desperately need some new faces in that heavyweight division, man. They've been
Yeah,
cutting people left and right. I mean, I'm pretty sure like Tai Tuivasa, who hasn't won a fight in a long time, is still in the top 15. So it's
yeah,
crazy, bro. The heavyweight division is desperate for some new faces, and hopefully Tyrell pulls through. The only issue I'm seeing in this matchup, um, and respectfully, I don't know much about Tyrell, but I could definitely see Tybura using his experience and his grappling and winning on control time. I think that's his only path to victory is if he like lays and prays on Tyrell.
Yeah.
But I think more likely Fortune gets the knockout.
Yep, that's what I'm looking at.
So, all right, man, we have not disagreed yet. Let's see how we do on this next fight. We have Chase Hooper versus Lance Gibson Jr. What are the odds first?
All right, so the odds minus 260 for Chase Hooper. Lance Jr. is at plus 215.
Lock Chase up, bro. He's not losing this
Love
fight.
it.
He's
Chase by submission. I say Chase by submission, bro.
yep, yep,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's what I'm
This is
saying. See?
this is getting Chase back on the wagon, bro.
Yeah, that's
Lance
exactly
Gibson
what this
is
is.
not. I don't think he's UFC caliber, but and I know so Hooper was won four in a row, and then he got knocked out by was it Alexander Hernandez? Yeah, Alexander Hernandez, and dude, Alexander Hernandez was on a pretty hot win
He was
streak,
on a streak,
knocking
yeah.
people out, and he's considered a contender as well. So Hooper lost to no chump at all, and I just think this is a level down in competition. I think this is one of those layup fights for Chase to get a quick sub, get his name back on the map and
Yep.
respected, and get a higher level fight. But
Yeah.
this is an easy win for Chase. I would have put the odds at minus 400 respectfully, bro.
Yeah, I was surprised they weren't as high as I was thinking because I was thinking this is kind of a layup fight. But so either they know something we don't, or again I don't know. People just kind of fell off the Chase Hooper bandwagon. But like you said, I think this is to get the crowd back behind him and feeling good for this young kid.
Yeah, I think the only issue with Chase is like one, he's pretty weak striking wise. That's
Yeah,
obviously not his forte. And then number two, I think he just needs to work on his takedowns a little bit better. Like once he gets a hold of you, he's incredible with the jiu-jitsu, and once he has you in a position where he can control
yeah,
you, but it's just the fact of getting to you and taking you down. So I think that's kind of like with Patty Pimblett. Like Patty's got
yeah,
great jiu-jitsu, but his wrestling needs some more work just to get you in that position to where
yeah.
he can try doing different submissions.
Yeah, because that's, I mean, we Justin Gaethje wasn't even like, out wrestling him. He was just kept sprawling, and Patty had nothing to do about it. It's like he couldn't.
Right.
Like
Like
you
if
said,
Patty would have got him on the ground and
yeah,
had a good control over him, he would have had a way higher chance probability of getting that sub. But he just
yeah,
couldn't get to the point where he could take Justin down. And I
yeah,
think Chase kind of has that similar issue where the
yeah,
jiu-jitsu is incredible, but the takedowns need to be a little bit better.
yeah. Let's hope he's been working on that in between game.
But dude, no issue for Chase. He's beaten Gibson. Next up, we have Ignacio Bahamondes versus Tofik Musaev. I don't know much about Musaev to be honest, but I know Ignacio is really good on the feet, and he's a hot prospect as well. He's been has some UFC years under his belt now. He's growing into like his final form in the UFC,
Yeah.
and I think Ignacio is definitely in that contender range. So this I'm interested in what Tofik's style is and if he's going to give Ignacio any problems.
This is going to be a banger, bro. Both of these guys like to stand, and both these guys like to just straight up just strike. So Ignacio has 11 KOs. Tofik has 18 KOs. So this fight is not going the distance. That's what I'm going to say. You can get the under 2.5 for minus 170. I think that's the best bet. Just watching these guys bang it out and watch one of them knock the other guy out. But Ignacio is the favorite at minus 300 and Tofik at plus 250.
I like Ignacio a lot, bro. It's really hard for me to fade him, but not knowing this guy and knowing that you're telling me he has 18 KOs,
Yeah.
that might be a hot underdog play. Like I think I'm going to pass on this fight after hearing those odds, but I feel like if you're going to take an underdog, why not throw some money on a guy who's got knocked out another guy 18
Yeah.
times?
Someone who's got hands is worth putting money on. That's why I think the under 2.5 is the best pick here. Because then
Yeah, I like that, bro. Because
you're
you're
going to pay
either
a
way,
guy
if
to get
someone if
knocked
it gets
out. Yeah.
finished, you're getting paid.
Yeah. And at minus 170, that's good for under 2.5. Especially with these guys both having KO power. I'm surprised it's not under 1.5.
Yeah, I like it, bro. You might that might be a parlay piece for sure.
Yeah, I think that's the ticket for that fight.
All right, next up we have Kyle Nelson versus Terrence McKinney. What's the odds on this, bro? Like, I honestly I cannot see any odds for these fights. So, is you're telling me this is
Good,
the
very
first
good.
time hearing him?
So I just want to say one thing before. Terrence McKinney has never lost or gone to decision. Like he either gets knocked out or submitted, or he knocks them out and submits them. Like none of his fights have ever gone the distance, not one, which I thought was kind of a crazy stat. But they have Terrence McKinney at minus 170 and Kyle Nelson at plus 145. I don't know, dude. This is kind of a weird one because I feel like Nelson can pull it off and KO anybody at any time. But I do feel like Terrence is he's younger, he's a little bit more athletic. He's kind of like a little spider monkey in there running around all over the place. So I don't know how I feel about this one. I do like Terrence McKinney probably just a little bit more than Kyle Nelson overall, but I think either of these guys could, knock the other one out or submit. So this is torn.
I feel like I don't have a strong pick here, but I feel like I know how the fight's gonna play out. So, if it ends in the first round, McKinney wins. If it goes past the first round, I think Kyle Nelson has a better gas tank. Terrence McKinney really gasses out after round one. He goes
Yeah.
100%, balls to the wall. I mean, you said it. He's not going to decisions. He's either
Yeah.
getting finished or he's the one finishing. And I think Kyle Nelson has a little bit of a higher. I think a lot of people have a higher fight IQ than Terrence McKinney, but I think Nelson has a better IQ, a better gas tank, and I feel like I would have to put money on him being the underdog. But you're right, McKinney's younger and he's way more explosive and he's a lot
Yeah.
faster. I mean, I think if he doesn't get the knockout in the first round or submission, I think it's big trouble for McKinney.
Yeah.
But that's how I see it playing out, bro.
This is what I see. Kyle Nelson is like a tank, like he's super tight in his boxing and super rigid. And Terrence McKinney's like a heat seeking missile, is just floating around finding the heat, basically. So I mean it's like they're both gonna box and bang, but it's completely different, like, new boxing versus old boxing kind of.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. So if McKinney lands, then it could be trouble for Nelson. But that first round, will really
Yeah.
determine how this fight goes. Um, yeah, I think I'll pass, but I think
Yeah.
I think Kyle Nelson and that Tafik are really good underdog plays. I wouldn't be
Yeah.
mad losing money on an underdog play for those.
Not for Kyle Nelson, man, because he does have the ability to knock people out. I mean, he does have the power. And like you said, he's super intelligent. But either one of these guys could get knocked out first or second
Yeah,
round.
it's a banger fight though. Like
This is a
it's
good
one of
fight.
those fights where most like casuals might not know too much, about them because they're not like high in the rankings, but they're gonna make you a fan after that fight. You're gonna be like, oh
Yeah,
my god, that
exactly,
guy's fight was
exactly.
crazy.
Yeah, these clips will be on YouTube tomorrow and Instagram, or on tomorrow on Sunday, and same thing. I mean, this is like the things that people watch, right? Could be a fight of the night.
Yeah, facts, bro, 100%. And they both could use that bonus too.
So could I, Dana White.
Next up, we have um, Yusri Belagour Belagoy
Bella,
versus Mansour Abdul Malik. I don't know much about Yorsi. Sorry, I'm having an issue saying his name, but I know Abdul Malik is a big time prospect, got a ton of power. So, um, I hope this Yorsi has good, covers up well and has good striking defense because Mansour is a unit.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know anything really about your C, but like you just said, I mean, he comes in, he's a specimen of a human being. He's just going to be solid. He's got more experience than the other guy, and the odds are in good shape. I mean, you can get Abdul Malik at minus 120, and your C is even money. So I'll take the favorite at minus 120 here.
So Yorsi, he in 2023 he lost on the Contender Series, and then he went to another organization called like Levels Fight League. Some low level one, won two
Yeah,
fights in a row. Came back to the Contender Series, got a knockout win, and then got a knockout win in his first official UFC debut. So it looks like he's a pretty hot prospect too, bro. He is 33 years old, but in my opinion, I just think that Abdul Malik is just a monster, bro. I think he's a higher caliber fighter. He's 28 years old. He's younger. Their reach is about the same. Yorsi is 6'6". Malik is 6'2". So if that chin's straight up in the air, that could be trouble for
Yeah,
Yorsi.
that 4 inches
Give me
could make a
Mansoor for
little,
the knockout, bro.
which that's crazy high at that middleweight too.
Yeah, I wonder how much. I'm interested to see the scales when he weighs in.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So, but yeah, bro, I like Mansoor a lot in this matchup, man. I'm pretty surprised the odds are that close. Um, Definitely would not be surprised if there's a finish here. I definitely think there's someone's getting knocked out.
Yeah, that's what I'd say. Even the under 2.5 is -135, so they're expecting it to not quite go the distance.
Alrighty. Next up we have Larian Douglas versus Julian Erosa. Dude, Erosa's been in the UFC for quite some time, bro.
He's been
That's
in
a
the UFC
young
forever.
that's like a young veteran right there.
Yeah, he's been around forever, dude. That's where same thing. I think the experience comes in here too against Douglas. I mean, Julian, I think is really good on the ground. Yeah, same thing. I kind of feel like he struggles a little bit with the wrestling, and he's not maybe the most intelligent in the boxing. He can box. It's just sometimes I feel like he puts himself for jeopardy to stay in the pocket, and he doesn't really slip punches or anything very well. But I mean, I think Julian on the ground it can be really dangerous. So I'm taking Julian Erosa plus 255. Douglas is at -310.
All right. I can't hate on the underdog play, but I think this is the first fight where I'm gonna part ways with you. I'm taking
That's
Larry and
fine.
Douglas. I'm looking here, bro. He got a knockout in the first round of the Contender Series, and before that, he had two title fights, both by winning by knockout in LFA. And I hate to compare other leagues, but I mean,
Yeah, yeah,
this
yeah.
guy's a winner, bro. He's a champion from another league. He comes in the UFC in the Contender Series, gets a knockout in the first round. Julian Erosa, he has the experience here. If he takes it to the ground, I definitely think that
Yeah,
could make the fight really interesting, and Erosa could become a live underdog at that point. But dude, he has a lot of miles on the tank. I
he
agree. I don't
does.
think he has a high fight IQ either. Erosa's taken a ton of damage. I
Yeah.
think he's getting knocked out in this matchup, bro. I'm taking Lyrian Douglas by KO.
All right, well, we're fading each other finally, so let's
Yeah,
go. It's either submit or KO.
yeah. Roasted by submission or Douglas by KO. I would make a personal bet with you, but I know the advantage is on my side because my guy is already favored pretty highly. But I would imagine if you take Douglas by knockout, you might be able to get even or plus money. A roasted by submission, you're probably getting like at least plus 400 or 500. So that'd be
Yeah,
if you're on that side, you're getting paid out pretty good if it happens.
they don't have those lines up yet, at least not on Bovada.
So all good. We'll check them out tomorrow. I bet they'll be up. But dude, Arosa's hard to count out, bro. Like I would never be
Yeah,
mad losing money on him because he's a dog, bro. Like he's not gonna tap easy. He's not gonna go out easy, dude. I've seen that guy take a ton of damage and just keep
yeah.
throwing, dude.
Well, that's what I'm
He's got
saying.
that lion.
Sometimes I feel like he takes damage when he doesn't need to, when it's not necessary, and that's his downfall on that, you know. But again,
Yeah.
I think he's great on the ground. I think he's got great jiu-jitsu, so it's going to be an interesting fight. So if he decides to stand and bang, like you said, he's probably gonna get knocked out. But he's just got to focus on the floor game and take the
It's
win.
hard to change your style too, bro. Like, let's
Yeah,
say if you got a really good chin for a long time, like a Rosa, like when you can afford to eat those shots and
yeah,
keep throwing, taking one just to get yours in, like I get it, but it's so hard to change your fighting style if that's what had worked for you for so long. Like the one of the best examples that I could think of is Tony Ferguson. Like he used to be able to
yeah,
eat shots, left
exactly.
and right. He had a titanium chin,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
now it's not like that. Someone else like um Jiri Prohaska, that dude has an iron chin. I've
yeah.
seen him take a ton of shots, and
He'll take it like crazy too. Yeah,
Marvin Vittori, Cheeto Vera, like the
yeah,
chins
that's
don't
true.
last forever, bro.
Yep. Yeah, that's the problem. So, again, I do like him as the underdog. So that's my underdog for the play.
All right, I can't hate on it though, man. I can't. Next up, we got Michael Chiesa. This is the nursing home matchup right here. Battle of the old man. We got Michael Chiesa versus Nico Price. Both have been in the UFC for a long time. Respected veterans, some dogs. Nico, in my opinion, is going to want to stand and trade on the feet in this matchup and keep his standing. Chiesa is a big time grappler. He wants to get you on the fence, wear you down,
Yeah.
test that gas tank, get you on the ground, and try to find some submissions. This is a good matchup, bro. Who do you like?
This is a good matchup. I do like Michael a little bit better than Nico, but the odds are minus 750, bro. And there's just no way I can play this or be any
Who's minus
confident.
750?
No, Michael.
Chiesa?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
can't.
I mean, it makes sense. Chiesa has been a lot more active than Price.
He has been, but still,
Chiesa
bro.
had a win in his last matchup, and Price has really declined. But dude, I think, I think that you got this is a dogger pass fight for me. You got to
Yeah.
sprinkle Nico if you do want to bet on the fight because there's no value on Chiesa, and I think that's not worth it betting on him. I don't even think he's a lock in this matchup, bro.
No, exactly. That's why when I saw that, I was like, "What is happening right now?" But they had Nico Price at plus 500. I mean, it's just that's just to me that's insane. But I was expecting to be closer, or maybe minus 200 or something. But that's just crazy.
Yeah, that's insane, bro. That's super dogger pass for me. I'm
He's
gonna
the
just probably
he's the
pass on that.
yeah he's the biggest favorite on the card. Like how is that possible, bro?
It's interesting because like that one, I want to stay all the way away. But when we were talking about the Navajo Sterling,
Yeah,
like no problem with that one, or the Alexia Thinera, that
yeah,
first fight versus Bruna
the first
Brazil,
one.
no
Yep.
problem taking that. Like I feel like those are a lot more locky. But the
Then this is
Chiesa minus 700, crazy work.
minus. Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, Nico could catch him like with an uppercut when he's shooting in, or catch him with a knee, and that's it. Game over. Well, like you said, both these guys they got to be over or close to 40, right?
Oh, 100%, bro.
Does it say
100%.
the age right there?
Yeah. So let's pass on that one, bro. That we'll just watch that one.
Yeah, exactly. I'll just watch. I'll just like be a fan that time.
All right, so now we've made it up to our co-main event of the evening. We have former champ Alexa Grasso versus Macy Barber. This is a really interesting matchup because Grasso, she's pretty good at mixing it up, but her primary focus is to grapple and utilize her wrestling and
Yeah,
her jiu-jitsu. Macy wants to stand on the feet, dude. She wants to keep it standing. She wants to trade shots, and she's really good with her hands. She's a good boxer. Um, I'm kind of torn on this one, man. I'll let you pick
I'm with
first.
you, bro. I'm torn because I feel like it depends on whose game plan sticks better, right? For sure that first round is probably gonna be Macy just teeing off, being able to sprawl and get away from the grappling for the most part. But as they start to fatigue out, dude, really it's anybody's game. Now, knowing that I feel like it's more 50-50, I have to take the favorite and Macy Barber at minus 180. Alexa Grasso's at plus 155. But I don't love those odds necessarily. I was thinking it was going to be a pick 'em or closer, but I don't know, man. I think Barber's on the way up, and I think Grasso's kind of stagnant.
Declining.
I wouldn't say declining. I just feel like she's stagnant. She's not growing. I don't. I wouldn't say she's just enjoying her time anymore. I feel like she's kind of been there and she's just stuck. Right? It's like they don't
Yeah,
have
it's like the
that
skills are the
drive.
same, but the hunger
The
isn't the
hunger,
same.
yeah, exactly, bro. I just feel like she doesn't have the drive to keep, grinding that hard to be the top, three.
Yeah, I agree. I think she's kind of in a similar situation as like a Brandon Moreno, where it's like they've been at the top, they're
Yeah,
still at the top, the skills are there, but it's like how hungry are you if you already
yeah,
became the champion, you already, have gotten that champion money, and it's like, but and now you're fighting these people that haven't tasted that yet, like a Macy Barber. So in
yeah,
my opinion, the value lies on Grasso, but I personally, if I didn't hear the odds, I have to take Macy Barber here. I just think that it's a close fight. I'm always going to take the person who's hungrier, and I know Macy really wants a title shot,
yeah.
and she's experienced some highs and lows in the UFC, but I really think that she's put it together at a good time, and she's ready to make her title run right now.
Yep. I think it's
And
part
this
of the
might be
reason
that
why.
step. And she's like 27, bro. She's so young.
Yeah, she's young for sure. But the UFC, someone's always gunning for you, right? Like as soon as you make it there, there's already 15 people below you gunning for your spot.
Yeah, it's cutthroat, bro. Like there's no off nights in the UFC. I mean, when you fight,
Right?
your performance determines everything. It's all about what can you do for me right now. And
Yeah.
you're always
I think.
you could win like six in a row, but if you lose your last fight,
Yep.
just like earlier when we talked about Chase Hooper, he was on a 4 or 5 win streak. He gets knocked out by Alexander Hernandez, and then now he's back at the bottom fighting
Yeah.
that. Um,
Trying to rank back up.
yeah, sorry, I was trying to think. He's fighting
You're good.
Lance Gibson Jr., where he should be fighting a top 10, 15 guy right now.
But
So
I mean, it happens to everyone. Even like look at McGregor. He was killing it until he wasn't. Right? It's like you do great until you get your leg broken, and then all of a sudden you disappear. So
yeah,
it's like all these guys, man. Even as soon as you get there, someone's gunning for you. Someone's already, they've seen you fight enough. They have your footage. They know your weaknesses and strengths, and it's just a matter of time, right? It's like, I mean, really, other than Khabib, nobody's like been completely undefeated in the UFC.
yeah, I would say just Khabib and John Jones. That's it. So.
Oh yeah, Jones never lost, but he only had
Especially
like
like with
6 fights.
active fighters too. I mean, the more active you are, you're gonna end up getting caught at some point. So
At some point, right? At some point.
yeah. Hey, that's some good life advice too, bro. Like especially in the UFC, but I think across the board in all aspects of life, especially with like jobs or
Oh yeah,
hobbies or like whatever you have passion for, you always have to have that mindset, man. However hard you're working, there's always somebody out there in the world that's working 10 times harder than you, 10 times hungrier than you, someone that hasn't even had what you have right now at this moment.
yeah.
Like you gotta always you can never get too comfortable in life in whatever aspect it is.
Agreed, dude.
So
Yeah,
always look to grow. But yeah, I think we're both taking Barber in that one. I don't know if I'll put on a parlay, but um, if I did, it'd be the last leg. So
yeah, yeah. Because that's an easy
and I'd
hedge.
hedge it. Yeah. All right. So I'm curious if that's gonna be 3 or 5 rounds too. That'll make a if it's 5 rounds, that'll give even Grasso more of value on her.
Yeah, I'm
But I
thinking
think
it's
it's probably
3.
just three.
Yeah, because it's the over under is plus or over 2.5, so I think it must be 3.
Yeah, that's advantage Barber then for sure because those champion rounds are a little different.
Right?
All right, so we made it to the main event, bro. This is a crazy matchup. Like if this was if this was like 5 to 7 years ago, I
Yeah,
think
that's what I was gonna
Adesanya
say.
would be a massive favorite. He would have been, back in his prime, he would have been probably a minus 450 right now. Adesanya is one of the best kickboxers of all time in the UFC. Former champion, defended the belt many times. He carried the UFC on his back during the pandemic, in my opinion,
Yeah, that's
and
true. Actually, that's
super
100%.
active, bro. And then Joe Pfeiffer is that young, hungry, never tasted a belt yet. He this is his fight to put him in championship caliber, like contention level.
Yeah,
And stylistically, it's interesting too because Adesanya wants to stand and kickbox and keep you at range the whole time. Pfeiffer wants to be in your face and he wants to take you down and absolutely
maul
maul
you.
you.
Yeah, exactly, bro. So, like you said, stylistically, this is gonna be a good matchup. This is gonna be, I think, it's gonna be a banger for sure. I don't think we're gonna see any lay and pray. It's like they're gonna be standing, boxing, getting the best of each other, and then you're gonna see Joe shoot in, and I don't want to say take a break, but he's gonna be using that to recover to go back to boxing, basically. I don't know, dude. I'm kind of torn in this fight because Izzy's been losing all of his fights lately. He hasn't been as active. It's kind of like he peaked and is just showing up for the money now. Like you said before, I just don't know how hungry he is or how much he really wants this. But it's hard for me to fade him, man, and bet against him at the same time. So I'm really torn here. I
What's the
really
odds? That'll kind of that might manipulate my opinion a little bit.
so Adesanya's at minus 150, Fiverr at plus 130. So it's a little bit more than a pick 'em essentially.
Yeah, this is how I see the fight going. In my opinion, I think I don't know how hungry Adesanya is, but I think for him, he has lost. You're right, but he lost to Imavov, who is probably going to be fighting for the title
Yeah,
next. You know,
next.
he's right up there. He's number one contender. And then he lost to Sean Strickland, who um, just beat Fluffy. You know, who and
Yeah.
Strickland's getting the next title shot. So
Strickland just got crazy hands right now. He's on fire at the moment, dude.
yeah, and he stuffed all those takedowns. And
Yeah.
then who Izzy? His only other loss was to Duplessis, who it was a really close title fight, and he ended up getting submitted by Dricus. So
Yeah.
my argument for Adesanya is, dude, he's only losing to the cream of the crop, you know, champions.
Yeah.
But
And he
Pfeiffer,
lost, he lost to Peoria or Alex Peoria just before that too.
he lost to Pereira, but
They
Pereira
were
is
in
going
for
to
a
be
while.
fighting for his. He might be the first three division belt holder in UFC history. He might be the first triple champ. So
That's crazy.
I think Pfeiffer is a contender, but I think Adesanya is a couple levels too high for Pfeiffer. Pfeiffer's only chance in this fight is if he does successfully get a takedown and he ground and pounds Adesanya and gets a knockout, or if it's on the feet, you know, he just catches
Yeah.
Adesanya. Because I do think Adesanya has a lot of miles on the tank and some, you know, he's accumulated a lot of damage throughout his career. But in this matchup, I'm picking Adesanya because I think his footwork is going to be too much for Pfeiffer. I don't think Pfeiffer's going to be able to get his hands on Adesanya because their footwork is just completely different levels. I'm
Plus, with
thinking,
his kickboxing, he should be able to really, like you said, control the distance. And if he sees, Joe shoot in from the distance, he's gonna be throwing knees and kicking, and the striking is at a different level. Is
and this is what I'm thinking, bro. If
better.
he does successfully defend those takedowns in the early rounds, Pfeiffer's going to gas out. He's going
Yeah,
to get tired, and this is a main event, so I'm assuming 5 rounds.
it is five.
So if it after 2 rounds, I think Adesanya is only going to gain momentum because Piper's going to start to gas out. Adesanya's had more 5 round fights than most UFC fighters. You know, this
No,
is a
that's
cakewalk for
true
him.
for sure. Yeah,
And if Piper gets lazy on those shooting those takedowns in the later rounds, I think Adesanya could even catch him and get a knockout here. Like you said, if he throws him teep kicks, front kicks, throws a
yeah,
knee up the middle, especially while Piper's tired. Um, I could also see this being like a bit of a snooze fest where Adesanya gets a decision win and Piper's just chasing him around the cage the whole time. Adesanya's pop, 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 and then just sticking and moving. So lots of different outcomes, but I gotta take Adesanya one more time. It's close enough odds, and I think the footwork's the difference here for me.
yeah.
And this is one of those fights for Piper where if he loses, it's not going to hurt his resume at all, bro. Losing to Adesanya, he it out of sight, out of mind. Piper will still get big time fights even if he loses this matchup. I just think he can't lose like in a quick, embarrassing way. But Piper has nothing to lose. Adesanya's got all the pressure on him because if he loses this fight, it's you got to retire, bro. Like,
He's
what are we
done.
doing if you're not winning this one?
Yep, yeah, that's it. He's done for sure after this. All right, well, we're both on Izzy, so the only one we really didn't care for was the who was my underdog? Oh, Rosa.
Arosa, and I mean, I can't even argue with that because you're taking a pretty good sized underdog, so I'm not mad at that at all. You ready to put together some nasty parlays, dude? I got some freaking heat.
All right, give me 1 second. All right. So this is what I did. I did Sterling, and then Hooper, and then Cheze at so -122.
Okay,
So it's just giant favorites basically.
who's your third leg?
Michael is it Cheze? How the hell do you
Chiesa.
say his name? Chiesa.
Got you. Okay, okay.
So
All right. I
I
don't
put
mind that.
I can hedge it easily, and it's -122. So not just a little less than 1 unit for 1 unit.
Okay, I like it, bro. That's not bad. Um, are you doing the martingale?
Yep. Oh yeah. Let me pull that up because that's on a different account. Do. So my martingale, I took Ricky Simone for the first leg, and then Casey O'Neill, and then Tyrell Fortune, which we kind of loved all those three. So as long as one of them wins, that's it. We're going in the right direction.
Let's go. Let's get it. All right, bro. Let's get it, dude. All right, so leg number one for me is Casey O'Neill,
Okay, love it.
and then we're going to take Douglas, and then we're going to take Israel Adesanya for leg number three.
Oh yeah, that's nice, dude. That's a plus 325. That's a great.
Dude, if we can get through that, dude, we'll easy hedge for Joe Pfeiffer on that title fight. Um, that's what I'm thinking, bro. I'm thinking Pfeiffer. If Pfeiffer does win, it's gonna be by a knockout too, so that might even get better plus money. And then, um, can I give out a crazy one just for
Yeah.
like a core unit?
Yep, let's do it, dude.
All right, let's take Alexia,
Yep,
Ricky Simone,
love it,
Sterling,
love it,
O'Neal.
love it.
Um, let's take Malik, Abdul Malik. Sorry.
Oh, I got you. Yeah, yeah, bam.
And then Macy Barber, and then Israel Adesanya.
I like
I know
it.
that's got to pay like plus 1,200 or something, maybe.
Plus 1930.
All right, cool. So about almost 20 times your money right there.
Yeah, exactly. So that's legit. All right, so a quarter unit on that one. Bam.
How many legs was that? Like eight?
Yeah, oh, seven.
All right, all right. I feel pretty good about those, bro. And
Yeah, I
even
do
like
like it.
I'm a little nervous with the Adesanya Piper fight, but I'm not really stressing it just because that is the last leg. So if we're lucky enough to get to that point, that's an easy hedge. But this
Yeah,
week I definitely will hedge that, bro. Like if I get to that point, I will hedge.
yeah. We should always do it if we get to that point.
Yeah, because last week, I mean, I felt pretty good about the main event, even though Muvzar barely won that split against Laurent Murphy, which that was really controversial. But this fight this weekend, like I felt pretty confident about Evolov last week, but
Yeah,
Adesanya, dude, I don't know the hunger, and that's the difference for me. I was
that's
talking about
really
his
different.
footwork and distance, but dude, at the end of the day, Piper's a hell of a lot hungrier, so that does scare me a little bit.
Yeah, that's the main difference there. All right,
All right, dude.
basketball.
Yep. So now moving on to the March Madness tournament. We're in the Sweet 16 right now. Um, couple teams that I like that we like to win it all. We both were talking crazy about Arizona, dude. They're looking better than ever right now, man. We got one of the one seeds. Florida had lost to Iowa the other day, so
Yeah,
we don't have to worry about Florida being a threat anymore. And yeah, dude, I love Arizona's side of the bracket. I feel you know, I feel the same way, dude. I'm still taking them to the bank. Um, other teams I think that are dangerous that are actually have a lot of value is Nebraska. They're dangerous and have value. Um, Illinois has a lot of value on them. I think that you could, I don't mind Illinois at all. So outside of Arizona, I'd say Nebraska, Illinois, um, and then St. John's. I like St. John's a lot.
I like St. John's too against Duke, dude. I think that could be the next upset. And St. John's is at plus 230.
Yeah, dude, I love that. Like, I think that's crazy odds. Like, that should be closer to a pick 'em. Maybe Duke minus 2.5, but 6.5's crazy, bro.
Yeah,
Like, looking at the Friday's matchup, I'm taking St. John over Duke. Alabama's gonna play Michigan closer than people think.
I think
I'm
that's going to be
taking,
scary. That's going to be a scary game, bro.
yeah, I'm taking Michigan State over Connecticut. I think Michigan State's a little bit better. Iowa State taking them over Tennessee. Let's see. Texas might play Purdue close. I'm staying away from that. I'm taking
Yeah,
Iowa over Nebraska. Arizona. Arkansas is a handful. They're going to give Arizona a good game, but Arizona's dude, they've been playing top tier teams all season. I'm not
yeah,
worried
and
about that.
it really seems like it's more we're like our second half and our conditioning is just a little bit better because a lot of times they'll be close or we'll be down a little bit, but then that the last quarter, the second half of the second half is where we kind of really start to pull away and gain that momentum again.
Yeah, I think you guys do such a great job of making those halftime corrections
Yeah,
and adjustments. Like I don't know if there's a better team at adjusting mid game and figuring it out than Arizona as well.
yeah, and
Um,
again, our bench is so deep. I think we can, guys revolve around so they're not as fatigued going into the end of the game.
Yeah, you got absolutely like lots of depth on the team, loaded with depth. I think the closest game in the next 2 days is going to be Illinois and Houston. That's really a 50-50 game. But I think Illinois is a little bit better. But I think if you're going to play any underdog in the next 2 days, I think we both agree St. John's is the best underdog to take.
Yeah, I
Especially
agree.
just take them by spread if you're scared.
Yep. Yeah, I agree, bro.
Give me six and a half freaking points, no problem.
All right,
But
love it.
yeah, dude, I think everything's looking good, bro. Like my final four that I put on my bracket is still alive, and like I said, we both talked about St. John before the tournament. You could have got them at plus 6,000, plus 8,000 at one point, and
Yeah,
we've
something
been talking
crazy.
about St. John's the last couple weeks, and Iowa State. A lot of these teams we talked about are doing really well and playing out exactly what as we said. The only team I will take accountability for and say that I was wrong about was Wisconsin, bro. I
Yeah,
talked pretty highly
Wisconsin was
about
an
them, but
early
they
team.
kind of flaked out in the tournament. So, and that happens.
Yeah, that happens, dude.
So,
Yeah, so
but yeah,
same.
bro.
Final four is still in. I'm looking good at the bracket too.
What's your final four at now?
Uh, I did have Duke. I did Duke, Illinois, AZ, and Michigan.
Okay, well, you got everybody alive. I got Iowa
Yeah,
State, Arizona, Michigan State, and Houston.
because I had Nebraska going against Florida and then beating Florida, but they got upset by Iowa already.
Yeah, well, good thing you picked Nebraska anyway, so they're still hot.
I'll take it, dude.
Nebraska's tight, bro. I like them.
All right,
They're,
guys. Well,
All right,
sorry.
that's our podcast, man. Right, Taylor, ride or fade our UFC picks. Don't care.
Comment.
Same thing as March Madness. We're here to
Yep.
have fun and make some money along the way. So that's all we got this week. Next week we'll give out some more predictions and talk more about the tournament. But Mike Up been misinformed is out.
Later, guys.